Hey, Keith here for Am I Rich, and today we're going to talk about Facebook again. So yes, I think since I mentioned it the first time, I thought it was probably a good buy. Was um, earlier in the year, and it's up 30, more than 35% anyway since I mentioned it. And so I thought I'd kind of do a discussion because they've come out with their earnings, whether I think it's still a good company to have, or whether I think I should buy it more or keep it. What should I do? Anyways, and discuss a little bit about their earnings. So Facebook came out their earnings, and the stock prices jumped after hours quite a bit. So the current share price is $196.38. That gives it a PE ratio of about 29.1 and a forward PE ratio of 24.3 is estimated. That might change a little bit now that they're after earnings. And then the price to book ratio is 6.5. These values are a little bit on the high end for an average company, but if you look at, especially when it has no dividend, but if you look at its 5-year intrinsic growth rate, we're sitting at around 40% per year, so 39.6% per year, which is amazing growth. I mean, this is really, really great growth for every year for 5 years, and if you foresee more growth ahead, then this could be really big. So a couple of highlights from their earnings, kind of their announcement that they had. Their users, they said, were up 8% year over year for like daily active users and monthly active users. And they said every month, they're on all their platforms, there's about 2.7 billion people using it. At least once a month, and maybe like 2 billion using it once per day, I guess, or once a day. So these numbers, I mean, that basically means that everybody's using Facebook. Well, if you're not using Facebook, then probably one or many people who are using it. There's only so many people on the planet. Yes, maybe people have multiple accounts, or there's maybe they haven't weeded out everybody, but still 2.7 billion people using it. That's the majority of people out there who can have an account and are using it. So this is a dominant player, and I think they also mentioned a few other things. I mean, their earnings themselves are actually down about 50% from last year when you compare quarter to quarter from 2018 to 2019. So one of the reasons was they had to make like a $3 billion payment to the Federal Trade Commission, I think, or for the Federal Trade Commission's inquiry. And so this kind of added a lot of pressure to their earnings. Now that said, there's other reasons as well. I mean, they still wouldn't have beat last year's earnings. So that's not the only thing, but it's part of it. They've also ramped up a lot of their employees, and especially they're trying to curb opinion around how their platform is maybe not serious about security, or security breaches, things like that, or your personal information being able to leak. So they've really tried to focus on that with hiring a lot more people and try and improve the business that way. And because of that, that has hurt their earnings. But as far as revenue goes, their revenue is actually up. And if you look at their mobile advertising revenue, that's up over 90% from the year before. And I kind of think this, I mean, I think a lot of people think this, there's really a very high growth potential for the ad revenue coming into Facebook, especially if they're like the dominant player in what people are using every day, or at least among the top 2 or 3, if not the dominant one. Then a lot of ad revenue is going to go there, especially as it moves away from TV. Now is finally going to be surpassed, I think this year, maybe next year or something, by internet streaming. So if Facebook's part of that, people are looking at Facebook more than they're watching TV, or ad revenue is just going to keep coming. And even good times or bad times, if it's the most effective advertising, people are going to put money into Facebook. So this is really one great thing it's got going for it. And then the other thing I personally think, and I mentioned this before, but the big thing I really think is, even if a good competitor came out that was better than Facebook, Facebook still has a moat, I think, for the next 10 years or so, just because you have now this dynamic where there's, I mean, maybe some younger people would disappear from it quick, but you'd still have quite a bit of people with spending power that are on there because of the dynamic of grandparents want to see their grandchildren's pictures, or, you know, there's still some family who want to interact. And to change from that platform to another one is very difficult, especially when you're trying to involve a whole family. So while kids are growing up, I think you have that kind of 10+ year window until something better comes along and is able to move everybody away from it. So that's kind of the one big moat I see it. As far as the price, I kind of look at it because of its growth potential, because of its past growth. Its growth potential is pretty good. I don't really see a huge limiting factor for it. But because of its growth currently, and because of its position as a kind of dominant player, a monopoly almost in the social media market, it has, and it might seem like its PE ratio is a little bit high, but really I see this is a very fair value for this company right now. So I don't know that, like, if you're not trying to buy a dip, I don't know that this is the time, in my opinion. But holding this, I think, is really the way to go. I don't really see, anything I bought before now, I don't really see why I would get rid of it. So, because, you have at least probably a 10-year window before it could really change drastically, and during that time you'll probably see the headwinds coming. So if another company comes along that seems better than Facebook, you could probably slowly move away from it. Well, they're still going to earn quite a bit of revenue, I think, in earnings for quite a while. So that's my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think this lower earnings is some kind of telltale sign that's bad for Facebook? Maybe people are overestimating its growth. Do you see another app that's out there that's even better? I kind of don't think there is anything that can really compete with Facebook at the moment, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Feel free to write in the comments. Otherwise, that's all I have to really say for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next video.